Saku Kone, Harry Amass, Toby Collier, so many youngsters at Manchester United. Is it the time for Eric Ten Hag to give them rare stats? My name is Webb. Welcome to the United Road Sport. Here is the match preview of our Carabao Cup home game against Barnsley that will be taking place tomorrow. Now, we know how important the Carabao Cup is to Eric Ten Hag. It is the first title he won with Man United, and he has made it almost a habit for himself to be winning a title every season. At least if the last two seasons has been there, anything to go by. Now, the expectation this season is for Man United to be pushing as far and hard as they can for the English Premier League. But for that to happen, they have got to rest certain crucial players in some of these minor games, if I should say now. That's why I ask: is this the time for Eric Ten Hag now to rotate his team and show us what he can pull off with the depth he has got at his disposal in the squad? Now, for me, the first thing I expect Eric Ten Hag to do in this game is trust the youngsters, and these are Harry Amass on the left, good enough. We've got injuries. Of course, Luke Shaw might not be fit. He will still not be fit and available for that game. Neither will Tyrell Malaysia be. So we should be having a left back. Now, of course, we know that in the past games, the options have been Dalot and now Nusal Mazraoui. But Mazraoui as well was complaining, was pulled off because of what seemed to be an injury in the last game against Southampton. So, meaning it's a blessing in disguise for Eric Ten Hag to rest him, even if he's okay and he's not really seriously injured. Eric Ten Hag needs to rest him and get him ready for the next upcoming so many intense games that we'll be having in the Premier League. So what and the Europa League. So what then do we do? Bring Harry Amass, put him on the left. Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire play them in the central defense. Diogo Dalot, because there are not so many options on the right, Dalot can drop in there as one of the few senior players. Of course, Dalot too, I feel, needs some bit of rest, but he can come in because I think he rested for certain minutes in the international break. He did not play 90 minutes for all the games for Portugal, so he can still come in there and play on the right. In the middle, because we need to have a balance, to strike a balance in the squad. We cannot keep it all youngsters. So the back line will be solid enough. 3 senior players, Harry Amass on the left. Behind them, rest Andre Onana. Andre Onana is not immortal, Eric Ten Hag should know. Andre Onana too can be rested, and it's in such a game in the Carabao Cup that he should be rested. Let Onana play in the Premier League, let him play in the Europa League. He can play in the FA Cup as well. But for the Carabao Cup, let's get to see what Bayindir can do. Then in the middle, Manuel Ugarte, of course, is a senior player, but because he hasn't got a lot of minutes, I feel he needs to be picking the floor and picking rhythm. I think his first start at Old Trafford can come in a Carabao Cup game. So for me, Ugarte should start. And of course, I've seen people trying to perhaps suggest that maybe Casemiro should be the one starting. But Casemiro is still a senior player whose minutes have got to be regulated. I think Casemiro can come off the bench probably in this one to replace either Collier or Ugarte. So play a 4-2-3-1 formation. Have Manuel Ugarte play alongside Toby Collier. Let this be for the youngsters. Toby Collier. For Ugarte, it's strictly for the minutes. For Collier, it's for him to now get into the rhythm of playing the senior team. This game will be, like a Champions League final for him. Bruno needs to rest as well. The guy is 30 now. He has played so much football. Bruno as well can rest. Now, when Bruno is not there as a 10, the only able deputy for him is Christian Eriksen. Put Christian Eriksen in his best position, because even for the Danish national team, Eriksen plays most and best as a 10. So play Eriksen as a 10, and I'll tell you, he will be as lethal as they come. Up top, Joshua Zirkzee, because not just because we don't have so many options yet, but also the fact that Zirkzee is still new. He also needs to be playing a little more games and to get more minutes in his feet. So this Carabao Cup game will not be too much of a pile on him. Let him play there. Garnacho on the left, because he has been coming off the bench most of the time. It's been Marcus Rashford who has been starting the other games. It seems Eric Ten Hag lately wants to start Marcus Rashford, taking us back to how things were in the first season. If you do recall, in his, I think it was last season, last season, where he played Rashford for so many games. Rashford was doing absolutely nothing, but kept keeping Garnacho on the bench until the fans' uproar probably forced him to finally give Garnacho the chance. But I think his preferred winger, I don't think Eric Ten Hag really is a big fan of Garnacho. Probably for him, his liking of Cristiano and stuff like that, people will say that. But I don't really believe that Eric Ten Hag really is a big, huge fan of Garnacho as a person, maybe as a footballer, yes, but and Ten Hag, if he doesn't like you, it sort of find ways of frustrating you. But anyhow, Garnacho, I think, should be starting in the wing. Let Rashford rest for a bit. Antony, these are the games for Antony. I think Ahmad now has established himself as the starter in the more important games on the right wing. Let Antony come in and make a start. Now that squad should be good enough to get a win against Barnsley in the Carabao Cup. It should be good enough. Of course, on the bench, you keep on your trusted guns. The likes of Bruno can be there on the bench. Of course, Casemiro. You can have who else? Players like even Ahmad can still be on the bench. Marcus Rashford. These are players who can come off the bench and change the game. Keep them around on the bench, but let us have let this be the chance we get. Let this be the opportunity for us to look at these youngsters and see what they can do. If it doesn't work, have the confidence in because we expect to obliterate, in fact, Barnsley. If it doesn't work, have of course then quickly make adjustments and bring on the players from the bench. So for me, these are the things I expect Eric Ten Hag to do, and that way we will then understand the importance of the depth that we are craving for, because even himself was saying for a long time he needed depth in the squad. But you see, if you have depth and you don't make use of it, it doesn't make sense for you as a manager. So that's my honest take on that game. And well, if that happens, of course, the one surprise that I could see in that game, in my probable starting 11, maybe could be Casemiro dropping in there somewhere, either for Collier or even for Ugarte, knowing the Eric Ten Hag that we will want to take his time. But for me, this would be the ideal starting 11 for our home game against Barnsley. What this would give is Ugarte having a chance to start a home game at Old Trafford and feel, the vibe of the supporters, because they will be there in their numbers. The vibe of the home supporters, you don't want to feel that pressure in a big Premier League game or a Champions League game. I think, or Europa League game. I think this is a better opportunity for him to be introduced to the home crowd and as a starter, make a first full home debut. I think it's a big time opportunity that Eric Ten Hag should not miss. That way, I think Man United will be making use of the depth that we've had. Now, of course, this season, what will success look like? And you can drop down a comment and give me your opinion about what you think. Of course, people are asking me about Chido Obi Martin. He's not yet fully confirmed as a Man United player. I think before that, we cannot see him. But also, guys, Sekou Kone as well. I think he can come off the bench in this one. I think Sekou Kone too can be on the bench in this game. This could be an opportunity, because if he was included in the squad for the 25-man squad for the season in the Premier League, he should be able to come in a Carabao Cup game and play a few minutes, because this is a young kid who is hungry to play. He was playing, he must be fit. This should be a good introduction for him, maybe off the bench for a few 15 or 20 minutes. So for me, those are some of the things I expect to see in this particular game. But of course, I was saying that in terms of success for Man United this season, what would success look like? Carabao Cup, I think now we've progressed beyond the Carabao. I think if we are to continue progressing, we won the Carabao Cup with Eric Ten Hag in the first season. Second season, we win the FA Cup. This season, we should be at least trying to win the Europa League. If we win it, we are directly back into the Champions League, and also, of course, finish among the top 4 in the Premier League. So for me, that will be a semblance of success for Man United this season. Top 4 might be, maybe it might sound like too much to ask quick pressure on the team, but of course we are Man United, guys. We are a work in progress, but we are Man United. Even when you're working on everything else, you're work in progress, you're expected to compete with the big teams in the league. So for me, it's not too much to ask. I'm not asking for a title, not a second place finish, but top 4, Champions League, rather Europa League victory, a return to the Champions League, I must say, will be successful for Eric Ten Hag, and probably it would warrant an extension or a new contract for himself with Ineos. That's my honest take on what's going on at the club. So, but the Carabao Cup, it doesn't mean that competitions like the Carabao Cup are not ones we should go out there to fight for. We still have got to fight for a title. We must win a title, because if we don't, then we are dropping in confidence, and it will look for many like we are not progressing. Because if you've won titles in the past 2 seasons and you don't win any title in the next season, There are people who will feel like it's not progress per se, even if we finished improved in our position from the eighth place finish in the league. So we need to win a title, and of course the Carabao and the FA Cup should be our best. Our best. It's difficult to defend the FA Cup, by the way, but we should be pushing to try, of course, and win them as well. Who knows? We could win a double or even a treble and shock everyone. So that's my expectation. My name is Webb. This is the United of Sport. Like, share, and subscribe. That game is tomorrow at 10. Well, be ready for it. And I'll catch you later, fam.